Hello, everyone. We're back from Sofia, Bulgaria, back in different places. But anyway, I'm back in Brussels. Good to see you. If you're here, let us know in the chat. Hi, Sebastian. How are you?
Hello, good morning. I am doing great. It's been a week full of activities, lots of traveling to different places. I've been back to back, and I also want to say upfront, I haven't been very diligent on my LinkedIn exploring and production this week. I think you can tell when we are. I think you posted about that recently, right? Like it's really difficult to keep up with everything. But at least one of the things that I can tell you is that past content of mine started to be liked, reposted, etc. So hey, even you can take a break from LinkedIn, and LinkedIn will still work for you. How about that? How about that funding?
Absolutely, that's true. I post too much for the algorithm at the moment, but I just cannot help myself. I have too much to say. In the meantime, Luis, hi. Good to have you with us again. Yeah. There's a game. I'm not watching, still not watching, but apparently there's a big game happening. Deron, hi, and also someone from Berlin. We cannot see who it is, and Akshay from India. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you with us. So, yes, what about this game? Do you have some football news for us?
I have to say, those who are watching this stream right now would be hugely disappointed in the level of knowledge that we have on football. Like I'm in Sofia. We joined a group of football fans, and we follow the match, and it was great. But I have to say, I have my heart torn today because Spain, of course, my country, rooting for them, but also Belgium. I spent so many years there. I still, my my son was born in Belgium, and they kick the United States ass in the last match. So right now I am torn between the two, I have to say.
We have people watching from London and Karlsruhe, so I'm really happy to have you all here. And we're going to talk about LinkedIn today, just for some pictures from the Connecting EU event that we were at together with some other really nice people. We put some circles around ourselves so you could see us. The stage was really big because there were a lot of people in the audience. And as you saw, I gave a LinkedIn Visibility Masterclass. It doesn't seem like you were very happy with your.
I mean, I have to say that your setting was really cool. Like, congratulations, genuinely. I think it was probably one of the highlights of the seminar, and also because it was different, right? We were talking. Probably the reason why I was so serious, and we were talking about how to communicate, how to fix societal issues, how to communicate, how to change conversations, change the narratives, and I was put in the panel next to very smart people. So I think I was really concentrated on staying, at the level of the panel, and I should have smiled more. I do take that as a feedback point, but we were there.
Things are not funny. It's just the case. I don't know why everyone appears to us as a LinkedIn user, but we have a user, we have someone watching who is originally from Sofia. If you're there right now, let us know. Beautiful place. There was a tour. This is actually the second time I was in Sofia within 1 month, both times to give a workshop. So I love the place. Keep coming back there somehow. All right, let's get into LinkedIn. Any question you have about the algorithm, what you should be posting about, what you're wondering about, links in post, let me know in the chat, and we will try to get through it all. I'm not going to give you a full lecture. Sebastian has a lot of questions. I do have a lot of slides. We don't have to go over them all, but we can use them if we want to. So let's maybe start with the first one. I think this is important to know. And this is why I keep coming back to you having to optimize um, your profile, is that before you even post anything, LinkedIn has already decided how many people it's going to show it to. So half your reach is determined before you even press post on your post, half of it. This is why you need to optimize your all the different elements of your profile, making sure that those are in line with your niche expertise. You see, now that's what I want to spend a little bit of time on. If you go to the next slide, Sebastian, this is a little bit more context. 92% of posts get buried, 8% get explode. That's for the same reason. 60% of reach is down for active creators, people who post actively over the last 2 years. I get back to the comment issue in a moment. And then people who scroll past your post, so they see it, but they don't even stop. There used to be a neutral factor into the algorithm, let's say. Now it really hurts you, not just that post, but also the post that comes after. LinkedIn remembers, it never forgets. So that doesn't mean you cannot retrain it. All right, so let's continue. So what does that mean? You need to become a topical expert so that LinkedIn shows your content to more people. Now, this is the very, very most important part of anything. How do you become a topical expert? You choose a few core, what we call at the Think Group, DNA topics, and then you create comprehensive content clusters that cover every aspect of those topics, rather than publishing different things every day, every week, completely unrelated, just because they pop up in your head like an like everything you find interesting. I know you're a person with many interests, with many different capabilities, with a lot of broad experience. But if you can hone it down on those things that you care about the most, that you want to be known for, and you can go very deep on it, that's how you become a topical expert. Then you connect your content on your website as well. If you have a website, interlink those pages. If you, on your LinkedIn, get a post where you explain all the different things you have ever posted about that. I do that from time to time. I say, here is a list with all the useful posts I've ever done on AI visibility or on LinkedIn. So I help LinkedIn understand how everything is connected. Have your own terminology. And then, of course, most importantly, share original insights if you can. Unique research that you've done. Doesn't have to be huge research, but something that you have thought about, developed, analyzed, your case studies, anything that you can show to demonstrate that you have deep knowledge around that topic. That's how you become a topical expert. Sebastian has a question. I can feel it.
Yeah, that is the part that this hard realization that every single one of us come to when using LinkedIn is we wanna be we wanna comment like spontaneously, right? Or like we think we have a witty comment, and maybe LinkedIn in the past was the place to share that with the wider public, and it rewarded it. But it is true, as someone like myself, who I want to talk about mental health, I think it's really a big part of my DNA, and how I have made conscious changes in my career. And when every new challenge or every new topic that I've tried to approach to it, I've always been very mindful about this. But at the end of the day, especially in the last couple of months, all those posts, they are completely vanished. And now the algorithm is rewarding only the ones on AI, which quite honestly, and I wasn't in Sofia to talk about AI. You were the one talking about AI in Sofia. What I love talking about is about communications, it's about many different topics, but it is true that at the end of the day, you just probably try to find like a common, no? Can we even find like a meta topic that shows up across many different ones? Maybe that's one of the ideas that I'm trying to explore. How can I make sure that my awareness about mental health and about can also show up when I post about AI? I don't know. It's a very it's hard work. It's hard work to do. And
Well,
it's great that
it's
you.
hard work because
Yeah.
you're doing before taking that step back. And that's why I do these DNA interviews with people,
Yeah.
because there is always that fil rouge, the red thread, the narrative, something that connects everything. And
Yeah.
if there is something that really doesn't fit at all, then maybe you shouldn't post about it right now.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I really care about. Maybe, I'm picking out a new bike right now. Maybe I don't post about this right now. Maybe that doesn't belong on my LinkedIn content, even though I do care about cycling, right? Maybe that doesn't belong on my LinkedIn right now. But there are certain things that are important enough to you, but you need to figure out, you need to take that step back. So for example, I post about AI, I post about LinkedIn. Why do those things go together? Because it's all about visibility in the age of algorithms.
Exactly.
So, and it's not just that, it's about authentic communication, DNA-driven communication in the age of algorithm. And so that is my overall thing. And that's why LinkedIn fits, but also AI communication fits. And so once you figure out that overall umbrella, different things can fit. But you need to find that angle, and you need to explain it very well, especially in your about section.
Yeah.
So then you need to adjust everything correctly. And I think for I think once you get to know, now that I know you, I understand the umbrella, but I don't think it's expressed clearly. And so it feels scattered. It feels like you're just doing a whole bunch of unconnected things, but I don't think they are unconnected. But that's might be how it comes across, because they're so diverse, your topics. Now, if you go to the next page, you will see that you then need to adjust your profile to your niche. As I said, as I just explained, for me, I really want to help people find who they really are, what makes them unique, express that in their very unique way so that they really sound like themselves, and then adjust that on their profile. So everything for their profile, their posts, their headlines, but also, find their own visual style. And because LinkedIn is constantly profiling you even before you post, as we said. So if we then continue, we will see that you will have to adjust your banner. I have a rotating banner because I have a paid account for LinkedIn, even though LinkedIn should be paying me and I should not be paying them because I keep selling LinkedIn so strongly. But anyway, I have a rotating banner. You don't have to have a rotating banner or a paid version for LinkedIn. You can have a static banner and make that prime real estate on LinkedIn. Have a message, not a holiday picture. God forbid, not an empty banner that's really like showing up naked on LinkedIn. Put a message there, key to the core expertise that you've chosen. Then the headline, the first 80 characters of that headline follow you around on LinkedIn wherever you go, when you leave a comment, when you post, especially that first part. In my case, I've changed it now. It's no longer your DNA beats the algorithm, but allergic to vague positioning. But whatever that is, that follows you around, and people can follow you straight from your comments. So make it something that catches attention. And then your about section, that can be a backstory, that can be an explanation why people should follow you, what kind of content you're adding to the LinkedIn world. And then on the next page, you will see what else you need to adjust. Just definitely put featured post. That's really a missed opportunity. Lots of people don't do it. So put, a meeting with you. If you have a package that people can download, or high performing posts that really show your methodology or your thinking. Proof points, they can all be put in the featured section. And of course, your posts themselves and your comments. It doesn't mean that if you have a friend from high school that just got promoted, that you cannot wish them, you you can wish them good luck, etc. But try to find post in your niche and add a valuable comment to that conversation. And this I wanted to say. Now, I read in some research that 80% of comments within the first 5 minutes of any post is now written by AI. And I think that is fabulous. Now, first of all, LinkedIn is trying to fight this, and punish the people who use these automated bots to write those comments. But it's also great news for you if you're not a bot. Because if you write a real human, messy comment, that means that people will like it and will want to engage with you. So you have the opportunity to stand out purely by being yourself, by being your own human, messy self. Whereas before AI, you'd have to think about it. Is it clever? Is it real? No, just write a human, messy, from the heart type of comments within your area of expertise.
I was thinking on that
Sorry.
I was thinking about writing an appreciation post to the 5 random people who every time that I mention agent or AI agent automatically like the content. So I think I was planning to do that. Like thank you to those like completely third connections that you can just see that what they're doing, and then do a little bit of public shaming too, because I think that is not helping them. I wouldn't know who could trust people like this, and scammers like maybe if you are looking for that. So I was gonna make maybe today the appreciation post to these 5 random people who are my instant supporters. Like I am telling you within seconds.
So we have a couple of comments. Let's
Yeah.
see what has been asked.
Yeah, let's start with the first one.
I would like to start posting, but I don't feel comfortable with professional topics. What would you recommend? So I'm sorry, but I have a follow-up question. Why would you like to start posting? Okay, waiting for your answer. Next question. The new arrival intent graph, are you aware of it? What are the do's and don'ts to outperform on LinkedIn's algo? Yeah, so this is very related to what I just said, so it's the do's and don'ts are to show that expertise, to make sure that LinkedIn understands what you're about. It's all exactly the same.
Can I ask what he means with the intent graph?
I think we have a slide coming up a little later in the presentation.
Okay.
Might make it a little bit clearer. If you update your profile, what happens to your old posts, which are not necessarily limited to the topical expertise? Anything you can do to make them visible again, or should you let the old posts go? I mean, don't delete them. Never delete anything. They're part of your story. Well, they're not going to be visible again. They happened in the past. But they're fine, just leave them be. Now you have a strategy, implement that strategy, be consistent about it. That is, by the way, something that I need to tell you guys. What happens if you don't post very frequently is that your posts get quite a lot of attention from LinkedIn and from people, because it shows it to a lot of people. Then when you start implementing a strategy, it looks like it's not working because you get fewer impressions per post, fewer likes, not that much engagement. And so people, when I help them, they say, oh, it's not working. I used to be better before. No, it's just because when you're not posting a lot, LinkedIn is trying to encourage you. So it's really showing every single post that you put out there to a lot of people, right? But then when you have a strategy, it wants to see, is this person sticking with it? Can I trust this person? Okay, it had a few topic-rich post, and it seems to know what it's talking about. This person seems to know what he's talking about, but this was a week, this was 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you're not a topical expert. It's not going to show you to all of LinkedIn after 2 weeks. It needs to trust that you can keep up this consistency, your expertise, keep up interesting, because a lot of people give up after a month. They're like, it's too much work and I'm going to stop. So LinkedIn needs to trust that you will keep at it, basically. So keep going, give it a couple of months, and then LinkedIn will trust you and show you. And that's when you see, and that's also when you see that once you reach 10,000 followers, it's not about followers, because even with low amount of followers, you can reach a high amount of impressions. But that's when you could really grow super fast, because you've shown that consistency in posting, you see?
Yeah. Also, one of the things that I think you do also very well is just show, I think, how just take a look. Summer is the best time to do this with lighter posts, and just make a little bit fun of yourself and say, hey, this is me when I have no idea what I was doing, and this is what I was posting, and those was the results, and those were my followers, and this is now now how much I have progress. And I think people wanna see that you are in a continuous improvement, and that they can also trust you in in getting there too. So exactly, don't be. Sometimes I look at past videos and things that I've done, and I say, oh my god, how can this have a space on the digital world? But I think it shows that you, like everyone else, you are improving and you are trying new things, and you're not stalled at one specific stage. You are open to feedback and to growth.
Yeah, exactly. So 60%, in my opinion, should be valuable content that people will want to save, because that is what's going to lead to real life results. That is going to be what gets people to contact you for, the press to contact you, what is going to get people to invite you to keynotes, to panel discussions, for jobs, for projects, if you have your own business. But you need to combine that, or it's good to combine it with 40% of lighter posts, which is going to get the impressions, the followers, the engagement, just because it's fun and people like reading some lighter posts. Still around your niche. I wouldn't do that about something completely different. If you can still keep it around your niche, then you have a really good mix going.
Okay.
All right. Let's go. Let's continue. Either with another question or the next page, maybe.
Let me see. There we go. Next
page. We've covered. Yeah. So once you've mapped out your DNA, everything you like, the words you like, the topics, and you can distill it to the key thing you want to bring to LinkedIn, it becomes so much easier. Now, once you start posting, and that's the intent graph that Louis was talking about, LinkedIn is no longer showing it to your contacts. Before, it was 70% of the people that saw your content were your contacts, or your first degree contacts, or your followers. Now it is people that LinkedIn thinks will like your content or have similar interests. So it's changed a lot, and that's why it needs to be very clear whom your content is intended for, whom it might benefit. Who might benefit from your content. So that's why this kind of mapping, and this is part of a 40-page book that we create after an interview with a person, will make it much easier to define those core themes that you can post around.
Can you also decide on your outfit? So the leather jacket was also part of your decision, or that's the...
So this is a leather jacket I was really wearing. It's one of my favorite pictures that I have of myself. So I asked the client to give me their favorite picture of themselves, so that can be the picture that we use for their DNA visual.
Yeah. I wouldn't I wouldn't have you as deeply nostalgic. That's a surprise.
Yeah, it's very funny. That's a vase of my grandmother. I like modern art, but I also have a lot of art from my ancestors in my house. But I like modern things so much. So it's the real mix of, which I think is exactly the work that we do. It's like going deep in your DNA, really human contact, real conversations, and then scaling with AI or using all the modern tools. And I really think life is about mixing those two things. I know fast cars and I love classical music, for example, Sibelius violin concerto, or Rachmaninoff's third piano concerto. That's but it's a balance of those two things.
Cheers to that.
Excuse me.
Cheers to that. I completely agree. Yeah. Nice.
So this is my mission, to help people see what makes them unmistakably them, and to help you express it in a way only you can. So you say visible, credible, and human in the age of algorithms. Now, that is the thing that connects everything that I post about and give workshops about and do with my organization, the Think Room. Some of the team are watching today. Thank you for watching, guys. And thanks for all the work that you do. Now, that is something, if you can define that for yourself, it's going to be much easier for you to post and you should express this also very clearly on your LinkedIn. I have this visual on my LinkedIn. I have an about section that explains in great detail what we do and what people can expect on LinkedIn from me, which I think helps a great deal. Now, of course, if you want very fast growth, there are faster tactics, but our goal is not fast growth on LinkedIn. Our goal is real life results, clients, workshops, all those real life things. So let's maybe look at a few more questions.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, maybe the one on from I think our most experimental user or participant of our workshop is Luis, and I think I want to say to him that he is not alone. Like he said, I stayed out of the office for a week, no posting. That's exactly what I described at the beginning, Luis. And then impressions dropped. No, I was hoping that they drop, but they didn't. What happened is that past posts were pushed, and I came across actually that made me think about. I don't know if you also saw that, Luis or Liora, about this thing with LinkedIn to show you past posts 3 weeks ago. Like what's with the three? What's with the 3 weeks? Like there is something going on in the algorithm that really likes whatever you did 3 weeks ago. So I know what you did 3 weeks ago.
It's the afterburner post. Remember that I said there are 4 different types of posts. So that's the afterburner with a really long lifespan. But it's still true that the 3 weeks seems to be very popular. I just this morning I saw a really good post I wanted to engage, and I realized it was 3 weeks old. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Why am I seeing this now? So yeah, there is something going on. That's actually funny. The algorithm needs to trust people to be consistent. Well, that's the thing. We are being judged also in our humanity because LinkedIn's AI is punishing us if it thinks we are not human. But who is an AI to judge our humanity, right? No. But of course, it's also looking at, are you using software to create comments? And it can't see that. So that is, that is not completely unfair. But we all remember that I think 2 months ago, we got punished for supposedly inappropriate imagery, which was really not there. No. So it was just a glitch. This was the AI, not working. So sometimes it's a bit scary when AIs are judging our humanity when we feel like, maybe they're not in the best position. And this is something similar. The algorithm wants us to be consistent, to decide how much expertise we have. But it's actually not just the AI. It's also people. People have a lot of can follow a lot of different people. Whom should they put the bell on? By the way, if you like my content, put on the bell, put it on always, so you see all the posts that are put out there. So you're not relying on just LinkedIn to show you random things. Put my bell on always, put Sebastian's bell on always, and you will always see all the content that we put out. If you don't do that, it's LinkedIn that decides, and LinkedIn is, and people, they want to know, is this person consistent? Is it going to be bringing consistently good content? So, and I think that makes sense.
I think algorithms and the latest, let's say the latest round of algorithms and how AI is changing them. I really believe they are going to become more humanized in the sense that at the end of the day is humans defining what the algorithm should maximize. And of course, you have platforms, like each platform is different. TikTok, Instagram. What they want you is to literally dumb scroll and give you near zero value, or maybe for the content. And LinkedIn, I think, is really trying to support you in your professional growth and your intellectual growth. So I think it's it is becoming more human. It's like a superhuman is reviewing everything and really making you work hard for your visibility. And that's why I stick around LinkedIn for now, despite all the glitches and changes. I think it's a really, really good platform to be in.
It's very funny how LinkedIn is also eager to put in the world some fake news. There was an event with LinkedIn at the Wright Street a couple of weeks ago, and I saw everyone repeating what the LinkedIn experts, who themselves don't have more than 1,500 followers, but they were there, but they work at LinkedIn, so they should know, right? But they said, for example, that you can post any time of the day, it doesn't have an impact. Well, it's just not true. It makes sense, because if you have a lot of engagement early on, you can become one of those rocket posts. Now, Does a post still have a chance if you post it in the middle of the night? Yes, it does, because someone with a big account might stumble across it, or they might be awake and they could comment on it and give it. But of course, if you post it when your audience is awake, there's a much higher chance that it will do well. So why would they say you can post it any time of the day? It's just not factual. I've tested it with so many clients now, and it's just not true. So that's one thing they said. Another thing they said is you can put links in your post. We discussed this in one of the earlier episodes. You can, if it's very valuable and if it adds, but they are suppressing links in comments. They're doing this. Why are they doing this if they don't have any problems with links? They're still frightened that we will go away from from their precious LinkedIn to another platform. They shouldn't be. We're all addicted to LinkedIn, but they're still afraid. So another lie. The third lie was video is going to be huge. Yes, they want video to be huge. They're pushing paid videos sponsored by LinkedIn. They're all doing very well. If we publish LinkedIn videos, all the statistics show it. It's not performing well at all. We're trying to do this show. They're not giving it that many impressions. We're doing recorded videos. We're telling our clients they want it to be big. It might do better at some point, better experiment, but they're suppressing videos unless they're paid for with ads. If you if you pay them ads, then they will show your video. So they're lying to us. I'm sorry, LinkedIn, why are you lying to us? Why aren't you not being sincere? Because we have the data, and that's why I always tell you guys, look at your own data, experiment with all the formats and see what works. Don't trust any platform, because also what works, if you're very good at video, there is someone that I follow and he's so funny and so good at video, for him it works. But if you're mediocre at video, you don't even like being on camera, then that is definitely not the choice that I would make for you to begin with. Start with being comfortable with text first. Why would video work? One thing on that is because people want to see that it's not AI generated content, and you can see that this video is not AI generated, right? It's too messy, it's too real. We're in our messy backgrounds. My hair is a mess, so you see it's real. So that's what people like about video these days. But it could very well be AI generated too. Everything can be AI generated. But so that's the reason that people are saying it should become more popular. But at the moment, it's not performing very well. It sits right at the bottom with reposts. Another thing that LinkedIn said during that session with
you didn't raise your hand and say
I was not admitted. I registered, but they didn't want me to come. But
okay.
but I read all the reviews. Another thing is that you shouldn't comment if you want a post to get attention. You should repost with your own comment. Again, repost. I agree that that's a good strategy, but again, repost even with comments. It's right at the bottom of impression count. LinkedIn is not showing reposts to anyone. Comments, on the other hand, if you comment on a post, everybody else sees it. So I felt it was so infactual, the information that they shared. I'm so happy I wasn't there. I wouldn't have been able to control myself, and it would have been ugly. So I'm happy that I wasn't there, and they had a good, lovely get-together full of infactual information.
Yeah, on the video, I think here's what I'm thinking, because I follow, and I can share my screen really, since we are talking about this, maybe this also helps some people. But let me see here. If you can see my screen right now, I follow Nicholas Thompson from The Atlantic. He has incredible, he has a big following, but he has his videos are so interesting. He calls them the most interesting thing in tech, and you know that every week or a couple of times a week he will be in different places, and he always starts to say, firstly, you see that he's in very interesting places. So if your work allows it, because you travel a lot, or even if you're in a city that you just need to move, like Brussels, from one place to the other, I think you can find all these spots. And then all the videos, they start the same. You can see that he's starting the recording. You can see that it's probably not perfect, the frame, etc. But then, of course, he has something really, I'll stop sharing. He has something really interesting to say every time. So at the end of the day, I think it's your content. Like, what do you have to say? Is it worth people's attention? And then, yeah, experiment. So some people, like we have this lobbyist,
Well,
Aaron.
sorry, Sebastian. One thing about Nicholas Thompson, this is actually proof of what I'm saying,
Exactly.
because he has a huge follower base. If he posts a text or a screenshot, he gets so many likes, like thousands. He posts these brilliant videos, and comparatively, I'm sure his impression count's much lower, because LinkedIn is not showing videos in the same way that it's showing text posts, which is crazy because it's really good content. I mean, he still has 200 likes or whatever, but for him, with the immense following count that he has and the engagement he gets on his other posts, this is low. Me, for example, I follow him. I had not seen these videos. I don't always see these videos in my it's not ending up in my stream, in my feed. You see? Yeah. So this is proof that LinkedIn is deciding to suppress video, even though they want more video, which is weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's
they feed each other. I think also things feed each other. I think having a diversity of products that you release, it's also good. It shows that you are versatile, that you can do long text, you can do videos. I think also this, just because I didn't know him, but I came across him through his videos. Now I'm more likely to read his more longer thought, like text only, or whenever he shares something. So, but what I'm trying to say is that perfect is not the goal, right?
No, absolutely.
Perfect is not the goal. And if you are if there is something about you, your journey, your day that you really value. So some people travel a lot, but then probably they are not aware of the background that they are in, how beautiful they are. But if you pay attention to these things, or even if you just cross the street every day, right? And it's the same street, but there is something in that environment that for you is important, and you are not image obsessed. You don't care if that day your hair is too long, too short, or whatever. And then I think that's and you have something important to say. Like, again, like so much time goes into the format, the length, at the end of the day is, what do you have to say? Is it interesting? Do you have a valuable angle, something different? I think that is the idea. We have a lot of activity going on whilst I was talking. Like, I should we pick up on some of the
I wanted to react to what Maricia says. I hope I'm sure I mispronounced your name. Apologies. So I fully agree with what you say on the video. I've had the same experience, but I also think in the EU bubble, people are still trying to push the corporate organizational videos instead of story-like vertical videos that are a bit more raw and natural. Absolutely. The only videos that work right now are not the stock imagery, terrible AI, and that which now feel very AI, even if they're not, like really terrible, completely, dumbed down, like with legal going over every message. No, it is really like Sebastian just explained, like the examples that we just saw, very raw opinions, but it does matter, as Sebastian also said, a nice backdrop, because people do want to look at nice things. So if it's in an ugly office, someone talking in a very dull way, that doesn't work either. So yes, self-recorded videos, but do, take a little bit of attention. And you can have some pop-ups, some nice messages pop up so that there's a little bit something happening, but make it feel real. Absolutely. What do you say?
Someone asking to go back to her original question, but I'm trying to find it. Maybe you wanna. I think the question from
I know, because I said, what is your goal? She said or he said, I want to post, but I don't want to talk about professional content. So I would like to start posting to make myself visible, but currently don't feel comfortable with specific professional topics. What would you recommend as a soft start but authentic? I would propose that you start with comments. That's a very good way to get active on LinkedIn. You find accounts that you find interesting, you engage, you start, being funny, giving your opinion. So you get comfortable posting without having to create your own post. You can also see, what are the types of topics that I'm interested in. So you get that's a very good way to build those relationships. Now, of course, it is important at some point to have content on your own platform, because if you have very nice comments and very nice conversations with people, at some point people are going to click on you and say, oh, who is this person all about? And then if there's nothing on your own platform, they won't connect with you, because there is nothing for them to, there's nothing of interest on your own platform. But that might give you a first start. Another thing is, you can start building your platform. You can say, who am I? What kind of things, build my thoughts. You can start building those different elements in kind of a strategic exercise on who you are as a person. Creating a banner with some messaging might be difficult if you don't want to do anything around professional content. My question still remains, you want to build your brand, but to what purpose? Is it to get another job? Is it because you want to build your own purpose? What is the goal of this building your brand? I don't think you want to build a brand just for the sake of building a brand, right? And that I still think makes a difference in how I answer this question. It's difficult, just a short answer like this for me.
Yeah.
My interviews with people usually take 3 hours, so it's a bit difficult for me like this.
And did you have any in your training? You're also trained to be like professional coach. Is there does that play like a strong aspect in what you do?
Personal coaching, yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so because sometimes there is this voice or different voices in people's head that stop them from posting or building their own brand. They're very nervous, and it helps to have those conversations and to coach people to see how much experience they already have, and that it's so they just need to get more self-assured and build towards their goals. And they can be practical help with LinkedIn, but also more on a it can be help with giving presentations, or it can be very technical or more on a DNA level. So that's definitely something that can help, or even with applying for jobs.
All right, we have a lot of activity here. Which one would you like to pick? Should we talk about the content formats, newsletters?
Yes, let's talk about the newsletter.
About video. Yeah. What's your experience with your newly launched newsletter? Is it?
So first of all, we have a great newsletter, guys. The Think Room team creates it. Thank you for doing that. I think it's super good. It's called the DNAI newsletter. So the DNA first, AI scaling second, DNAI newsletter. We have the 4th edition coming out next Wednesday. So why do I like newsletters? For 2 reasons. First of all, if you put your thoughts in a newsletter once a week, like we do once a month, it really forces you to, I think writing is a very good way to get your thinking straight around a topic. So once you define your niche, once you've defined what you want to be the go-to person for, once you define that topical area, you can then sit down and write a newsletter that will really help you to focus, and also you learn, because then you realize you have some gaps, you look them up, and so you write a long form piece of content. Now that is good for many reasons. One, once you publish it, LLMs, large language models, AI will find it. So it's a really good way for you to get found by LLMs, even if newsletters are not the highest performer in content for human beings. They are very good for large language models, and they show that topical expertise. LinkedIn likes seeing that you go deeper. You don't just write short posts, but you go deeper. So it helps you. I have some newsletters or some articles that I wrote on LinkedIn that have real deep research. They only got, 60 likes, 10,000 impressions. They were not my top performers, but they were, they give that backbone that I think is really important. And I see that they are sourced 200 times by AI systems, for example. So they're important pieces. Now, that's one reason. The second reason is, once you have a long form piece of content, you can turn that into many shorter posts. So it's actually quite a good idea to start with a long form piece of content and then turn it into LinkedIn posts or even, visuals. And then you can, I think, ask an LLM to help with that. You say, keep my exact tone of voice. Don't make anything up. Don't come up with AI language, but because you have written so much yourself, you can then really turn that into a lot of different things. So I think it's much better to start with that. It can also be a video. can be a podcast each week. You take the transcript and turn that into a lot of different material. So I really like starting with long form and then turning it into shorter pieces. You agree, Sebastian?
Yes, yeah, that's to me, it's the idea. I force myself to through the campaign playbook. We do it differently because what we do in the campaign playbook is that the people who are part of the community vote for the topics.
Okay.
And so usually I have 1 month. It's a month that I have for planning, and the newsletter to me is the best way to plan because I say I need to break this topic down into 4 weeks, and then in each topic I can drill down and I can develop the content, and then that weekly content transforms into daily content. I have to say that most of my content that I produce is for the people in the community. I don't post everything that I do on LinkedIn because there are people who basically are paying for that. But of course, I always try to do a summarized version for the wider public. So to me, it's a more internal organization or a way to organize my community. But I do agree that it is starting. It is how many people get to me through large language models. They found something that I wrote even months ago, and that's the way that they are finding me. So a lot of it's one of the things that you gotta do because you gotta you are serious about creating content, but it really helps the team. It helps you. So go ahead, do the newsletter. Don't worry if the date the likes are not there. Also, what about the date? Because I now realize I've been always a believer that the Thursdays and Fridays are the no-go for a newsletter. You mentioned Wednesday. I think Wednesday is the sweet spot. But now, as more people start moving to Wednesdays, I still think Monday is the worst day to do anything.
Worst.
So how do you see in the data when are the best performing ones for you? I can even share the stats on
our data in general, Monday is the worst performing day for anything. For anything, I'm actually thinking to stop posting altogether on Mondays. It's just because people are so busy; they have all their weekly meetings, and they're just not. So if you want to post on Monday, it has to be something really short and funny, something they're scrolling on the bus and it's kind of funny. But don't post like a long frame or something you work really hard on because that's just gonna, nobody's interested in that. Similarly, in the weekend, there is a lot of potential for the weekend, but I sometimes post something, like a really deep, like a really valuable post. People don't really want to read those valuable posts over the weekend. They want to sit in the garden and read something funny. So that's more for your personal post or for your funny post. So post the right thing. Think about what you would want to read at what point in the week as well. So that's also what I see. Saturday and Sunday post can perform really well if they're the right type of content. Monday, nothing really performs. And Tuesday, Thursday mornings still perform the best. In my experience, Fridays can perform well. Weekend type of ready content, especially for these type of lives. Sorry, maybe you can take over. I need to. Sorry, I couldn't mute myself.
Okay, I can help you.
Sorry, no, it's already over. And then Wednesdays. Okay, it depends a little bit. Wednesday mornings probably better for a newsletter. Now it is true that if a lot of people respond, LinkedIn will distribute it over the weeks, the days, and even weeks after, even 3 weeks. So then it doesn't matter that much anymore, but you do have to have some initial traction. And that's why the day that you post still matters.
Yeah. I also have to say something that is on LinkedIn, probably you've seen that, and you don't need to get a lot of followers, but I think once you get maybe over 1,000 subscribers, you start getting this, maybe it's because of the number or because the way it works. Not everyone receives the newsletter at the same time, on LinkedIn. There is a lag that can be up to 8 hours. I've had people who said, I just got your newsletter. It's 6 in the, it's 6 in the afternoon, and I send it usually around midday Thursdays, which are for me the sweetest, like the best performing one. But still, people actually, because through LinkedIn, you receive it in your own email, and there is something there. There's a filter there that maybe is trying to find out when is the best time within a reasonable timeline that you should get the email, or maybe it's a delay because of the email service providers. Yes, there is a delay that LinkedIn cannot do anything about, but it's really, that is also always really interesting. I always tell people to let me know and forward me the LinkedIn newsletter to see when is the lag, but there is significant lag of we're talking hours. We're talking hours in terms of and I think in the time zone will also be which I think is good. I think it's good. I think LinkedIn is trying to do something intelligent about newsletters, so I'm gonna stick to doing mine for the foreseeable future. Some
Of
weeks I
course, when
cannot
you
do it.
create a newsletter, add visuals, add graphs. Don't make it text only unless that's really your style, because people do like images. A lot of people are scrolling, not reading. So for them to get to the end, it is good to give them something visual to look at as well. Do you want to show maybe a few more slides? I have some things that I think might be useful quickly. The niche we spoke about. Let's continue. And of course, add your personal voice to it. Yeah, this is, we spoke about this, that, you want to make sure that you want to train your feed, because what you post about, what your profile is optimized for, is also what you're going to see in your own feed, but that might not be what you want to see. So I am posting a lot about LinkedIn. I don't want to see a lot of posts about LinkedIn in my feed. So I've actively trained the algorithm to show me things that I like by disliking things or unfollowing people of things that pop up that I don't want to see. But more importantly, by commenting, saving, forwarding, reacting to posts that I really like, and actively searching for things that I find interesting. And so LinkedIn shows you, if you don't train it, what it thinks you care about, not really what's happening on the bigger LinkedIn. And if you train it, it will show you what you really care about. So you need to spend maybe a week training the algorithm, and then you get much more fun environment for you to be at.
Yeah, more stimulating. I love following. Like I don't want to read about the things that I post, but I want to read about research, for example, and I try to follow a lot of research, like interesting takes on. I have something to share towards the end, and I'm trying to see what's the cutting edge research, and that's how I am slowly training my LinkedIn so that I can share all those things back with you every Friday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this we spoke about. Make sure people remember you for one thing, so that when you're not in the room, they will mention your name. One thing in one place.
Yeah.
In my case, Brussels. Okay. So then let's continue. So the goal, of course, is not for you to talk and push out lots of information, but to get people to talk about you, so that whenever your niche comes up and a journalist needs a quote, a keynote needs a speaker, a panel needs a participant, someone needs a project, needs help on a project, or to give a workshop, they will think of you. This is what we spoke about: 60% safe worthy content, 40% lighter human content. One will lead to real life results, and the other to impressions and followers. This is something that is important. Look at your statistics. Don't obsess over your statistics. Look at your statistics once a week, once a month, and look at patterns. And then also look at the posts that perform the best. If they're evergreen, if they were not related to a specific thing on a specific day, give them a second life. Maybe change the hook. On this post, all I did was to change the first 2 lines of the post, and then posted it again, I think half a year later. The first time it got 22,000, I think in the meantime, already more impressions, and now it had over 40,000 impressions. The exact same post, the same people responded to it. They didn't even realize they'd seen it before. So and they liked it the first time, and even more people liked it the second time. So if you are unsure what to post, Or if you don't have endless creativity, you can always reuse your best topics, or sometimes change the format. This was a carousel. Maybe you change it into a infographic. This is clearly a topic that people like. Actually, I should do that. I'm going to change that into an infographic now. Good idea. So if you don't know what to talk about, sometimes it's simpler than you may think. We talk about your credibility, your experience. So there are questions you get all the time. There are subjects that everyone comes to you for. You are seen as an authority in something. Those are the typical subjects that are great to bring to LinkedIn. What was something that you had to explain all the time? What was something that surprised you? What is something that you keep noticing that other people miss? Those are really great subjects to bring to LinkedIn. Another thing is, if you were on a panel, and I'm not saying this happened to you, Sebastian, in Sophia, if someone asked you a question and you gave a mediocre answer, maybe you gave a really bad answer, and later on in the hotel after the football game, you're in bed, you're like, oh, this is what I should have said. Well, that makes a great post. You say, someone asked me this, I screwed it up. People, LinkedIn loves that, but I now know what I should have said. Because we all have that experience. We are not always super eloquent in our answers, but then we remember. And LinkedIn is yours. It's your platform. You can say whatever you want to say. You can give the perfect answer. So LinkedIn is forever, whatever. I had a post about an Uber driver that was really actually quite rude, but it was also quite funny. And, I was annoyed for about a minute. And then I thought, no, this is amazing LinkedIn content. And it really, I think it had 25,000 impressions and people loved it. So, everything is content. That's all I'm trying to say. Everything is content. Ahmad is having a comment. I'm not a native English speaker. I've been thinking about posting only my native language to save time. I struggle always to grammarly rephrase my post in English. Would that affect my LinkedIn audience? Approximately 60% are native English speakers, 30% are from the Middle East, but use English on LinkedIn, and our remaining 10% are non-native English. This is a very good question, and actually something I was just discussing with a client yesterday who's a native French speaker. Do you want to take this? I have an answer as well about this.
I want to say that also to show everyone that we are building a community and we follow each other, we support each other. I want to say that Mericia, who is following us, she had this amazing experience that she had been posting in English, but she's Portuguese. And then she made a post on Portuguese and the whole thing blew up and she got like a lot of traction. So I have done it for Spanish. It hasn't gone that far. So I am really torn by this question. I would tend to say stick to English because that's where the percentages are. Clearly, again, the example that Ahmad has shared with us, but I'm also curious to see your point of view.
Yeah, so this comes down to the same thing. So LinkedIn wants to be able to put you in a box. If you post in 2 languages, it cannot put you in a box. So don't do that. Post in 1 language. Now, you say, most of your audience is in English. Even the Middle East audience speaks English, or 30%. So it doesn't make sense to speak in your native tongue. Now, the reason you are hesitating is because you're worried about your level of English. But this is where the good news comes in. Because of AI, people don't like perfect posts. So please don't use AI to translate your post or make it perfect. Rather, write the way you speak so people feel like it's really you. If you can go and ask AI, just take out the grammatical mistakes, but don't ask it to change it, to AI language. You can take out like the minor things. Maybe you can use Grammarly to take out just the typos or whatnot. But people want to feel like they're speaking to a real individual, real life person, and nobody cares if you make minor. You can even put like a little note at the bottom of each post. I am not a native speaker. I don't use AI. I apologize for any errors that I make. And everyone will feel so generous about that, and nobody's going to care, and they would much prefer reading your real voice over reading a bot version that's not you. We want to hear your words, your your sound. So I would really recommend write in English, add a little note at the bottom, and don't worry. I mean, I say this a lot, but I was following someone who's Spanish but wrote in English, and until we started using AI, I loved his posts. It sounded so him. The way his sentences were phrased, the words he used, the long words he put in Spanish words. Then from one moment to the next, he started using AI, and I didn't recognize him anymore. It didn't sound like him anymore, and I didn't enjoy his posts anymore, even though content-wise they were still fine. But I mean, I know that person in real life, and I just thought, who is this person? I don't feel it anymore, and that's the most important thing, that your DNA comes through. Not that there are errors or it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Really believe me that it doesn't matter.
100%. Should we wrap up? I know we could be here. We could be here.
Shall we stay here all weekend, guys? Who wants us to stay and talk all weekend? Okay, no. So.
I think this is exactly what we intended when we started maybe a month and a half ago with these sessions, that we don't finish our deck, right?
Yeah.
Because actually there are genuine questions from you, and we take the time to answer them, to learn. So I'm very happy to leave it up here. Any final words, Liora, from your end?
Yeah, I wanted to say that we would also love to have one of you join us at some point. If you have an interesting topic that you think you could discuss with us, if so, put that also in the chat and say, look, I want to join you guys to talk about XYZ. We also will have a slightly different schedule over the summer. We're traveling. I'm coming to Portugal. I cannot pronounce Mauricio's name, but I'm coming to Portugal, excited about that. So we'll see what the internet connection looks like. But in any event, we'll be coming back strong at the end of August, but there will be some recordings in between. So thank you all for watching. Have a great weekend. Sebastian, thank you for joining me in this conversation.
Yeah, it was great seeing you again in real life in Sofia. Let's continue with building this amazing community, and everyone have an amazing weekend. Ciao.
Bye, everyone. Ciao.
No.